Olympic Stadium yesterday, 24-year-old East German Torsten Voss was crowned as the world's new #1 decathlete, dethroning Daley Thompson. Another surprise in these championships, 40-year-old American John Powell won a silver in the discus. Powell, the oldest athlete on the U.S. team, his best ever world or Olympic effort. And adding to her heptathlon gold, Jackie Joyner-Kersee won the world title in the long jump. 4 years ago, Carl Lewis captured the long jump gold in Helsinki, just over 28 feet. Lewis would later repeat in the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles as the best long jumper in the world. Today in Rome, the 26-year-old Lewis, the top qualifier, attempts to keep his 6-year win streak alive as he aims at the 19-year-old long jump world record set by Bob Beamon in the 1968 Olympics. Also, the Italians will be in full support of Francesco Panetta, one of the favorites in the steeplechase. A sentimental pick, 33-year-old Henry Marsh, the dean of U.S. steeplechasers. And the man who won in Helsinki, Sergei Bubka of the Soviet Union, will be featured in the pole vault. The world's top vaulter the past 4 years, Bubka is ever closer to flying over 20 feet. The World Championships of Track and Field from Rome are being brought to you. Olympic Stadium in Rome for the final weekend of the World Championships of Track and Field. Another hot, humid day in the Eternal City. A crowd of over 60,000 will be packed into that arena, and many of them are here today not only to cheer for an Italian in the steeplechase or to see Sergei Bubka in the pole vault looking for a possible 20-foot vault, but to see if Carl Lewis can keep his promise. He has promised the Romans that he will break Bob Beamon's 19-year-old record in the long jump set in Mexico City, the Olympics of '68. Well, we'll be focused on that as one of our major stories, and to give you an idea of how impossible the task might seem, this is how far Lewis will have to jump in order to break Beamon's mark. If we start at this car, this blue car, and mark them off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus, that is approximately 29 feet 3 inches. Lewis would have to jump over 4 cars and land in the driver's seat of the 5th. He said he's tired of being a passenger anyway, to the record. Now to the stadium and Charlie Jones.
Dick, Carl could have a problem with skid marks today. We've had some rain on and off in the stadium, but the good news is the Italian version of the Zamboni machine is on hand, so if we do have more rain, he will have good footing. And speaking of good footing, the goal to be decided in the women's 1,500 meters. And Missy King, that's your event.
Right, and 4 years ago in Helsinki, Charlie, that was the most exciting race that I've ever seen, when Mary Decker's Slaney of the United States passed the struggling Soviet on the home stretch for the gold medal. Unfortunately, Mary is not here because of an injury, but it could be another great race because it's a very well-balanced field. We have Tatyana Samolenko of the Soviet Union and Doina Melinte of Romania, who have devastating kicks. Plus, there are 3 East Germans in the field. And put it this way, East Germany never sends an athlete to a championship meet unless they have solid chances at winning medals.
And also medals, gold, silver, and bronze, will be awarded in the steeplechase.
Charlie, if Henry Marsh or Brian Deemer run their best races of the year, they might medal in the steeplechase. But the real story here is Francesco Panetta. Earlier in this championship, in the 10,000 meters, he was favored. He had the fastest time of the year going into the event. He finished second. The entire country was disappointed. If he wins the steeplechase here today, the closing ceremonies may be tomorrow, but the fireworks will start in Rome today.
In the first round of the men's 4x100 in the first heat, the United States in lane 7. They are the favorite. They will be challenged, though. And it was Lee McRae who led it off, then Lee McNeil, Harvey Glance, and Dennis Mitchell anchored. Now, remember, this is the first round. You nominate 6 men. You can make changes. We expect to see Carl Lewis anchoring in the finals. United States in lane 7. Lee McRae in the Spider-Man suit without the hood. But watch the rest of the U.S. team. He hands off to Lee McNeil.
Charlie, when you're good, you can hot dog, and the U.S. is the best team in this competition. In fact, on paper, they could probably assemble the two best teams. Whether or not these suits work, I don't know, but they still run very fast in them.
And they're a lot of fun. Harvey Glantz, and he will hand off to Dennis Mitchell, who is anchoring. And the United States with a comfortable 38-80, moving through to the next round along with Hungary, who finished second in that heat. In Heat 3, the team to watch is Canada in lane 6. Jamaica also outside of them in lane 7. Why do you watch Canada? Because Ben Johnson is going to lead off. Now, normally, he does lead off. The question is, if they move through to the finals, will he anchor against Carl Lewis? We think so. Again, Canada outside in 6. Ben Johnson leading it off.
And Ben Johnson obviously running the fastest leg, but what happens is he runs up on the second leg, and that's the disadvantage in this kind of relay of having someone so fast in first rather than in last position, because you lose when you run up on the man.
And anchoring, of course, you can hit top speed and continue right through to the finish line.
You don't have the handoff, but Canada has a very, very good team. They'll be very strong in the final, but if they were going to use Ben Johnson in the final, they should probably practice him here. There'll be a lot of pressure to put him on the last leg in the final.
Mike Dwyer anchoring for Canada. Clive Wright for Jamaica. They finish 1-2. Canada's time, 38-76.
So the U.S. team of McRae, McNeil, Glantz, and Mitchell breezing into the semis. They'll get much more serious about their running in the semis. That will report to you later. And, of course, the finals, and perhaps Carl Lewis is the anchor tomorrow. We will return to Rome after this.
Here are the lane assignments in the semifinal women's 4x100 meters relay. Bulgaria is in 1. Ghana is in 2. Nigeria is in 3. 4 is open. Brazil was scheduled there. They are not there. In 5 is West Germany. Canada is in 6. And East Germany, the defending champion, is in lane 7. And Silke Gladish will lead it off. Ashkenaz is running the second leg, and the reason that she is running the second leg is that Drexler is hurt, is not going to participate. Barrett is running third, and Marlies Gurr will be anchoring for East Germany. East Germany in lane 7. Bulgaria in lane 1 with Zagorcheva, Nuneva, Georgieva, and Dankova.
Gladish gets such a quick start on the outside. They have a safe pass, underhanded pass. Oshkina looks well right here. Canada's on the inside. They have a strong team, but all here looks like all East Germany.
Bulgaria, meanwhile, in lane 1 is also running very well.
I noticed that Oshkina did not have that good of a pass, but it looks right now like that Isiyenko of Canada in all red is pulling up on the third leg.
The 3 top finishers plus the 2 best times in the 2 semifinals will be moving through, and this is Marlies Gurr anchoring for East Germany. It's going to be Canada finishing second and West Germany third. They are through for sure. Second semifinal women's 4x100 meters relay. France is in 1, Italy in 2, India in 3, Great Britain is in 4, United States in 5, Soviet Union in 6, and Cuba is in 7. For the United States, Alice Brown will lead it off. Diane Williams, Florence Griffith, and Pam Marshall will anchor. The United States in lane 5 with Alice Brown and a great start leading it off. A chance to see how they will do against the Soviet Union. The Soviets not as strong as they have been in the past. A good baton exchange to Diane Williams, and Williams down the long back straight.
Diane Williams has the best speed on the U.S. team. She was 4th in the 100 final. I think the Americans are trying to have a safe pass here. They look fine so far.
Had to reach just a little on that last pass. Pam Marshall will be anchoring for the United States. Antonova will anchor for the Soviet Union.
Pam Marshall has great closing speed. She doesn't have a great start, but she looks very strong here.
And the United States safely moving through with the Soviet Union finishing second, and it's going to be a photo for third.
The U.S. team then qualifies with the fastest time today into the finals tomorrow. The Russians are a threat, but the East Germans, who won in Helsinki, are favored to repeat their gold tomorrow. 2 notes on the East Germans. Silke Gladish, who already has 2 gold medals, will lead off that relay team. Heike Drexler, we're sad to report, knee injury in the long jump last night. She is out of both relays for the East Germans. Now to the finals of the pole vault, and we have the world record holder, Sergei Bubka of the Soviet Union, who, like all stars at this stage in his career, is feeling the pressures of being number one. We had a chance to chat with Bubka earlier this year after he set the world record, and through a translator, these are his feelings.
In general, my training is now a concern of the press. I'm sought for interviews by TV and the newspapers. Because of this, I'm not as quiet now as I was before. I'm under more pressure, but it is necessary to deal with the press and to keep up a high level of performance. Before, I thought I'd find success at the age of 26 or 27. I think that more or less at this age now I am doing well. But at 26 or 27, I can reach the height of my career. It is yet to be seen whether the atmosphere will be good or bad for me in Rome. I will have to use all my strength in order to win. I think that, generally speaking, it will be a good atmosphere which will help obtain good results. It is important to do my best and win, not to worry about a world record.
Prague, June 23rd this year. Sergei Bubka, 6.03 meters for his 16th world record. In metric, that's 19.9 1/4. The 23-year-old Soviet fast becoming what Edwin Moses is to the hurdles, Carl Lewis is to the long jump. He doesn't lose.
Semi-final women's 4x400 meters relay. The lane assignment. The United States is in 1, Cuba in 2, Brazil in 3, Canada's in 4, India in 5, France in 6, Kenya in 7, the Soviet Union in lane 8. The running order for the United States, Diane Dixon is running the first leg, Deneen Howard, Valerie Briscoe running third, first time that we've seen in the championships, and Lily Leatherwood King will anchor. The United States in lane 1. This is a 3-turn stagger in the lanes through the first runner and through the handoff to the second runner, and then they'll break for the pole.
Diane Dixon in lane 1 in all white. You would be a little upset with lane 1, but Diane Dixon grew up on the indoor board, so she's used to these tight turns.
The Soviet Union running well in lane 8. That's way outside. That's Yurchenko of the Soviet Union. It's Diane Dixon, Deneen Howard, Valerie Briscoe, and Lily Leatherwood King. That is the team for the United States, and there's Diane Dixon in lane 1. Again, we had that 3-turn stagger, so you really can't tell until after we've come off the next turn.
Diane Dixon is still running well right here. It's so hard to tell, like you said, Charlie, but the United States just wants to qualify today.
Olga Nazarova of the Soviet Union is running second for the United States. That is Deneen Howard. And now they will begin to sort out as Deneen Howard running inside, the Soviets running way outside.
She's going for it. It looks like she has the lead, and you want to be up towards the front because you don't want to get all in the way when you're handing off with other runners. You want to be up towards the front because it's so hard to be in the back and go through the exchange zone with so many other runners around you. They're playing it very smart right here.
Nazarova of the Soviet Union has the lead over Deneen Howard of the United States, and Canada is running third, and that's Molly Killingbeck of Canada in third place.
The Soviets are in the lead right now, and they have the best time in the world this year of 3:20, so they are a very strong team.
Benignia of the Soviet Union will be running the third leg, and here's Valerie Briscoe of the United States running the third leg, and Marita Payne of Canada is running the third leg. 1, 2, 3. Now the 3 top finishers plus the 2 next best times moving through to tomorrow's final.
Look at Valerie. She's just concentrating on the Soviet woman's back. She looks very relaxed here. She's ready for this 4x400 relay, and there she goes.
Valerie Briscoe challenged for the lead. Benigna holds her off on the turn.
That's what you want to do because on the turns, it's harder to pass there. Soviet woman is holding Valerie off, and it's not smart to pass on the turn. It's harder on your body. You waste a lot of energy.
And now Valerie Briscoe moving just a little outside is not going to close that much more. And so right now, the Soviet Union winning the mind games in this semifinal.
And you don't want to go all out of here. You want to qualify, you want to run well, but you've got a final yet to go, so you want to conserve a little bit of energy.
Olga Brizgina of the Soviet Union is anchoring, and Lily Leatherwood King is anchoring for the United States, and Julian Richardson is anchoring for Canada.
I wouldn't be surprised here if Lily Leatherwood is just going to play it safe. run a good race. She's going to qualify unless she drops the baton. But the final is left, and Brzezina won the 400 open race. She's very strong. Lily has the best finish, but she looks just very relaxed. She's just running to qualify.
So it is the Soviet Union out in front. This is Lily Leatherwood-King of the United States running second. Canada is third, and France is fourth, and that is the order that they will finish in this semifinal heat. So the Soviet Union, the United States, and Canada safely through 3:20.77.
Very fast time. It's one of the fastest times in the world this year.
And here are the qualifiers for tomorrow's final. The United States with a chance for a medal, finishing behind the Soviet Union in that semi. Fifth down, the Federal Republic of Germany. The East Germans are without Marita Koch, their great world record holder. She is retired. They're without Heike Drexler, who is injured, and yet they are the team to beat tomorrow. And when we return to Rome's Olympic Stadium, the biggest surprise for the United States provided by their oldest athlete. Welcome back to the Eternal City. We've enjoyed this past week of the World Championships of Track and Field in this great historical city with so many reminders of our links to the past and, in a way, also where we're going in the future. These ruins, in fact, date back before Christ. And if one allows himself an open mind and a sense of adventure, there's no telling what he might find, including an old discus thrower. John Powell, the surprise silver medalist last night in the discus. Were you surprised?
I was surprised. Everything has sort of been going well for me this week in the last couple of weeks, and I hit the big throw on the first one, and I thought, well, 66 meters is about all I have, and I was surprised because the competition was so top level that I was able to hang in there. But I think what helped me a lot was that the ring was a little slick, and I wore my jogging flats instead of my regular discus shoes, and I think that gave me the attraction I needed, so I think that really helped me. Some of the other throwers were slippy.
You're 40 years old. The next oldest in the competition was 34. There's a fascination that we all have toward old men in sport. I mean, we love Kareem still coming up with a big one, and Jack Nicklaus can still win a big one. Don Sutton and Nolan Ryan are 40 years old, and they'll still win you a big ball game. How do you feel about being at world level at the age of 40?
Well, I think young. I hang around young people. I coach at Stanford with the young people, and I think that helps to keep your perspective. And basically, I'm able to do most of the things that I did when I was 17 to 20 in terms of physical fitness, and I don't think I've lost too much. I may have lost a little speed, but in the discus, you're only sprinting across 2.5 meters, so you may lose a tenth or two on 100 meters, which makes a big difference. But across 2.5 meters in a discus ring, I think you can hang in there and make up for it with strength.
You go up on the stand as a silver medalist. Has that ever lost its unique quality, that experience?
Well, I've at the World Championships or the Olympics, I've never gone up to that'd be exciting. And like I say, I was very fortunate. A lot of things, I think, fell into place for me. And as I was saying, I said, well, I sort of hope it rains, that the ring will be slick, and I hope my shoes will work. And I think part of being a veteran is knowing that some other shoes besides discus shoes will do the job. So maybe being a veteran finally paid off. It's been 25 years, but you know, it still hasn't hit me yet, because the competition was, I think if you'd had a dry ring, there would have been an entirely different result.
He also told us later there was another secret weapon. He listened to Rachmaninoff classical music before he threw the discus, the great Soviet composer. And he also said when he was cut as a 9th grader from the baseball team, he wouldn't let people smash his dreams, so he took to track and field. Well, dreams are still alive in the 4x100 relay. Let's go back to Charlie.
The first semifinal men's 4x100 meters. Top 4 finishers moving through to the finals tomorrow. Senegal is in 1, Italy is in 2, Japan in 3, the Soviet Union is in 4, West Germany is in 5, Canada in 6, Spain in 7, and Ghana is in lane 8. The running order for Canada, Ben Johnson continues to lead off. Mahorn running second to Cy Williams third, and Mike Dwyer is anchoring. And we thought possibly that Ben Johnson would be moving to anchor, but he is still leading off, so they will stay with. This has been their running order. In a way, you could say that they might dodge a confrontation with Carl Lewis if the United States moves through, but on the other hand, this is the way they've always been running.
And the other point to be made here is that Ben Johnson has most likely not spent much time with the Canadian team, so he hasn't practiced handoffs. And if you have someone who hasn't been with your team and practicing, the best place to put him is in the first leg, so all he has to do is give it to someone.
Also, he has the greatest start in the world.
And the difficulty there is that perhaps he'll run up on leg 2, but they've had a little practice now, and Mahorn should know that he has to start a little sooner than he would with anyone else in the world to get the handoff.
Canada in 6, the Soviet Union in 4. Those would be the top 2 teams here in this semifinal. Watch for his leaping start. He does come out of the blocks in a hurry. And Canada does take the lead. He's already closed the stagger.
Let's watch the handoff. Does he run up on Mahorn? Better handoff than in the heats. Very good. Canada's way out.
Atlee Mahorn down the back straight. And he will give to Desai Williams, and a good exchange.
Whoa, Williams is running a good curve, but so are the Soviets.
Fyodorov anchoring for the Soviet Union. Mike Dwyer anchoring for Canada, and here they come. Soviet Union has the edge, and they move through. Canada moves through. West Germany moves through. An unofficial 38-29. Good time.
Well, that baton passing of the Soviets, they work very hard on it. It's well refined and defined, and they win that heat impressively. We'll see how the Americans do in the other semi. We're going to go down to the infield now in a moment to Dwight and Larry. And, of course, on that infield plays the Roma football team, the red and gold of Roma. And you've been hearing their soccer chant throughout these championships. You'll undoubtedly hear it again. Let's go to those gentlemen on the infield.
Ever since last Sunday's fabulous men's 100-meter final, we've been waiting to see what Carl Lewis could do in the long jump with an entire week to prepare. How far can Carl jump? That question may get answered today. And in the men's pole vault, Larry Rawson, Sergei Bubka of the Soviet Union has performed here in Stadio Olimpico before.
He has, and he set a world record here. As a matter of fact, the Soviet Union's answer to Superman has broken the world indoor and outdoor pole vault record a total of 16 times. Historically, when you check Carl Lewis's sprinting fitness, you'll see a direct correlation between that ability and how fit he is and how well he performs in the long jump. Lewis has never been faster down a straightaway, and maybe the moment is at hand when Bob Beeman's legendary long jump performance at Mexico City in high altitude goes by the boards.
Larry, those two exciting events a little bit later, but now let's focus our attention on the women's shot put final.
Frequently happens, Dwight, coming out of the East Soviet bloc nations, in this case East Germany, you have athletes that have just jumped on the world scene. This is Kathrin Neimke.
Neimke's best this year was 67.11. She was not even considered going to be a member of the East German team, and here she shows up in Rome in the shot put final.
She's improved over 3.5 feet so far this year over her best last year. 64 feet 6 inches was her best throw last year.
And that's a big throw there, Larry. 69 feet 7 inches.
She takes the early lead from this woman. This is Natalia Lisovskaya, the world's best shot putter.
Lisovskaya was a big favorite coming into this meet. 5th round throw. She just takes the lead. 69 8 1/4, only 3 centimeters, 1 inch ahead of Neimke.
Some NFL linebackers are smaller than these Russian women. Lisovskaya is 6'2", 207 pounds.
So big, but yet so quick. She's the world champion.
And there are the official results. Natalia Lisovskaya, 69 feet 8 1/4 inches, wins for the Soviets. She adds the world title to her world record. Kathrin Neimke of East Germany is second. Ines Mueller of East Germany is third. Well, now we go to the second semi, the men's 4x100 meter relay. Dennis Mitchell is running anchor, but we may see Carl Lewis tomorrow. And Harvey Glantz, who won a gold in '76 on the relay, still sprinting well for the U.S. Here again is Charlie.
The second semifinal, men's 4x100 meters relay, the lane assignments. Portugal is in lane 1, Brazil in 2, Hungary in 3, Jamaica in 4, Cuba in 5, United States in 6, China in 7, and Chinese Taipei in lane 8. For the United States, Lee McRae, Lee McNeil, Harvey Glantz, and Dennis Mitchell will be anchoring. This is Dennis Mitchell. He is anchoring for the United States in the final could well be placed by Carl Lewis. If so, he would still get a gold medal or a silver or a bronze if they do medal. Lee McRae leading it off for the United States. Not that good a start for McRae. Little slow coming out of the blocks. And behind at the exchange, United States now about in fourth place. Lee McNeil will have to make it up along the back straight. The exchange, it's a good one. And it is Harvey Glantz. Glantz on the turn. And the United States now comfortably in front in the semifinals. And here is Dennis Mitchell. Jamaica running second. It's Clive Wright, who is anchoring for Jamaica. And Hungary finishes third.
But the USSR with a better qualifying time than the United States, 3:8.29 to 38.33. Canada had the third best time. It figures that Carl Lewis will make up the difference tomorrow. Ahead for the United States, sentimental choice, Henry Marsh. In the steeplechase, that event is coming up. But right now we pause from Rome for this Olympic moment. Our next event on this Saturday from Olympic Stadium, the 3,000-meter steeplechase. That is one of my favorite events, Bud Greenspan, and it involves one of your favorite people.
One of my favorite people, Henry Marsh, not just of today, but of all time. You know, Dick, Henry is a practicing lawyer. He's the father of 3 children, a devout Mormon. So, you know, I've seen him go to practice sessions with a 3-piece suit and an attaché case. So, you know, when he comes to Rome, it's not going to be a typical day of an athlete in Rome.
Oh, Rome's been a great city. I really enjoy coming here, even though some of my races have not always been as I'd like to have them here. But for instance, at the beginning of this week, I had a very interesting day. We started off the day, we went down to an American part of town where they had a big ribbon cutting ceremony. It was a lot of fun to go down and cut the ribbon and have that ceremony, and did that before our morning workout because we had to hurry off from there over to the track. And that track over there, I just love to go work out, and you have all the marble figurines, the statues there around the stadium. And for me, it's sort of the essence of Rome. And we went from there to the Colosseum, and to me, the Colosseum, to be able to go up and look at that great structure, I just marvel at it. And it epitomizes athletics, too, and where we started all our athletic tradition. But after that, I had to get back to the track and get my legs worked on and get another afternoon workout.
Okay. Once more the other way. Okay. Okay.
And then I had a very interesting event in the evening. When I go to different cities, I try to speak to as many groups as I can, and they had a Mormon group, and I had a fireside for us that evening, and was able to speak to some of the people here. And that's always fun, to speak to the local people and get to know them and tell them about some of your own experiences.
Sadly, Henry Marsh, a great steeplechaser, has never won the big one. He's always run into tough luck. Rome here in '81, he missed a hurdle. Even though he won the race, he was disqualified.
And then 2 years later at the World Championships in Helsinki, where he's in second place, has a chance at winning the gold medal, probably certainly the silver, as they come up to the last hurdle. Ilg is in front of him, and he traps and falls down, and his chance is over. Then the following year in Los Angeles, particularly poignant moment, because Henry was trying for a bronze medal, and he's beaten out at the finish line by his teammate Dima, and he has to finish fourth. But this was a particularly poignant time for me, Dick, because I was filming the Los Angeles Games, as you know, and Henry became one of my very, very dear friends. And when he crossed the finish line, he collapsed in a heap, and I was standing at the finish line with my camera crew, and I don't know anything about medicine, but I couldn't see him breathe. And I was having a terrible time. I was almost in tears at that particular moment, because here is a dear friend, and you see him there, and he doesn't seem to have any breath in his body. Fortunately, everything turned out for the better, and Henry came back the next day again with his philosophy.
I've had so many setbacks in my career that, to me, the real winner is the one who can rise again from the setbacks and keep pursuing the dreams rather than let that defeat them. And I think that's why I'll never lose the dream, because the dream is what's important.
He appropriately lives in bountiful Utah, and there's a man with a bountiful philosophy.
He'll be back year after year.
He's 33 years of age. He's not favored to medal here, but his dream continues, And for the fans of the steeplechase, this is a dream field. And the race is about to begin. We'll have it for you when we return.
Here are the competitors in the steeplechase: Franco Baffi, Peter Koech, Alessandro Lambruschini, Brian Deemer, Jose Regalo, Raymond Panier, Francesco Panetta, Patrice Ilk, Graham Fell, Henry Marsh, William Van Dyke, Joshua Kipkemboy, Roger Hackney, Hagen Melzer, Patrick Syme. All eyes in Italy on this man, Francesco Panetta, the favorite in the steeplechase. And it's crowded at the first barrier because it's so close, because the water jump here is on the outside.
But Peter Koech, one of the other favorites from Kenya, taking the lead in lane 1.
Running 7 and 1/8 as far as the laps are concerned. They are wide laps because at the far end, when they come to the water jump, you will be able to see a total of 28 barriers, 7 water jumps.
And we may have a game plan going here. Franco Baffi from Italy is in first. Panetta is in second. They may be sacrificing Baffi for Panetta in this race because Panetta needs a fast pace in order to win. He's going out in front. Panetta in fourth.
Franco Baffi, number 581, taking the lead as they come to the water jump.
Patrick Sang takes the lead back as they come over, but then Baffi takes it back again.
So it is Baffi, and now I believe that is Joshua Kipkemboy of Kenya who is running second, and Sang is running behind him. And now Panetta moves up.
Panetta will have to take it out in this race if he wants to win.
Six laps to go. The steeplechase, where does it come from? Well, it started kind of cross-country and then through rivers and over hedges, and then to make it harder from township to township, they ran up and down the steeple. And that's what we're recreating here.
Baffi continues to lead. Kipkemboy in second, Panetta in third, Panier from France in fourth on the inside.
Raymond Panier of France running fourth right now.
And the real kicker in this race, the man with speed, Melzer from East Germany, is in sixth place. So the person who has to run from the front is in second place. The one who has the sprint is in last, and the Kenyans are unknown. Joshua Kipkemboy in front.
Jose Regalo of Portugal now takes the lead. And just in case you're wondering, Henry Marsh, as usual, is in last place.
And if Henry runs a good race, he may medal, but he's way back, and now people know how to run against Henry.
Francesco Panetta of Italy with the lead. 5 laps to go. Kipkemboy running second. Regalo of Portugal running third.
Melzer from East Germany is in fourth. Van Dijck from Belgium is in fifth. Panetta will not give up the lead. Kipkemboy comes up on his side. In this race, you have to be very careful about running close to the other competitors. In most of the track races, you can get close, but not here. You have to give space for when they come to the hurdles.
Panetta now edging back into the lead over Joshua Kipkemboy of Kenya.
And he's starting to press. This may be where he tries to break it open. But on every water jump, Kipkemboy takes the water jump better than Panetta. And on the last lap, coming into the home straight, that may be a factor.
Jose Regalo of Portugal continues to run third. Panetta, Kipkemboy, Regalo, the top three. Melzer of East Germany is fourth.
Panetta from Italy beginning to press, beginning to pull away a little bit. Joshua Kipkemboy from Kenya not letting him go, and that will be dangerous. If Panetta can not get away from Kipkemboy, he is in real trouble. Let's watch how they hurdle. Whoa! Kipkemboy goes down. One of the favorites is down.
Raymond Panier of France is now second, and Kipkemboy is down, and he is out. He took a terrible fall. William Van Dyke of Belgium is third.
And Panetta senses something going on. He's pressing. He's trying to break away. It's as if he said, okay, my major opposition's gone. Now the race starts. He is trying to run away. He's made his commitment. He has to run hard all the way to the end. If they catch him, he's beaten. If they don't catch him, he is the toast of all of Italy.
Meanwhile, Joseph Kipkemboy has to stand and watch.
We'll return for the conclusion of that steeplechase. We want to welcome those of you that have seen the Reds beat the Cubs 10-5 in our baseball game of the week. Ahead, yet to be decided, goals on this Saturday in Rome. In the steeplechase, the 1500 for women, the long jump, that'll feature Carl Lewis and Sergei Bubka, the world record holder in the pole vault. That's all ahead. Meanwhile, Francesco Panetta getting some help. Joshua Kipkemboy of Kenya falling and out of the race, and Boffy the rabbit helping him along. We'll be back after these words from...
2 laps to go. William Van Dijck is second. He was #1 in the world last year. In third place, it is Melzer of East Germany who outkicked Panetta and Ilk to win the '86 European Championships. But they'll have to close on him. They've got to get closer.
This race is one in which when the athletes fade, they fade very quickly. Panetta has to keep his strength because once he starts to go, he goes very fast, and the people from behind catch up very quickly. But as I can see it now, he looks just as good as anyone in the field. And what's significant to me is that Peter Koech is not with that group in second place. He would be the person I would fear the most.
Peter Koech of Kenya is in fourth place. Koech, the 1985 NCAA champion while attending Washington State. Now we're coming up with just over a lap to go.
And it looks like Francesco Panetta has stolen this race. If he can sprint, he has it. It's so hard to run fast in the last 400 meters of this race. I think he's stolen it.
At the bell. He leads by 35 meters. William Van Dijck and Hagen Melzer in pursuit. The crowd will take him the final lap.
Melzer is probably the only one with a chance to catch him. He's the one with the speed. Panetta is starting to tire. He did not run well on that hurdle. It's almost as if they sense that they're starting to run him down. Can he hold on? It looks like he's able to hold it on the flat when he goes over the hurdle. That's where he starts to falter.
They're closing on him. Van Dijck and Melzer. Panetta is faltering.
If he isn't first, coming off that water jump with any lead, the crowd is going to absolutely go bananas.
Not that good a water jump.
He looks around. He knows they're coming, but he's got too much of a lead. He's going to win it, and he knows it. Look at the smile on his face.
One barrier to go. He's got it.
They're not going to catch him, and he knows it.
He's waving to the crowd already. Panetta, Melzer, Van Dijck, the medals.
In time, a new World Championship spectacle, Myricks 8.5. Le temps officiel du vainqueur, 8 minutes 8 secondes et 58 centièmes. Nouveau record de championnat du monde.
No one had more pressure on him in this country in the last week than Francesco Panetta. He was second in the 10,000 meters. He was favored to win. He just had to win. He had no choice. For this man, this is a more important victory perhaps than even winning in the Olympic Games next year. He just had to win. The whole country was depending on him.
An unofficial 8:08.58. That is the fastest time in the world in 1987. And there's the champion of the world. And just past the finish line, Henry Marsh is looking back at the celebration. Francesco Panetta of Italy is now living Henry Marsh's dream.
quite like that in these World Championships. Francesco Panetta, 68,000 packed into Olympic Stadium. The energy exuding from the crowd standing throughout that steeplechase, cheering Panetta, Rambo Panetta home. He's from a little town in southern Italy. They have a pastry shop down there. Needless to say, the shop was closed today. The entire family here and the entire country of Italy cheering Francesco Panetta. That was the 4th fastest time ever and the fastest in the world this year. And there are the official 1, 2, 3, the winners of the medals. Panetta of Italy, Melzer of East Germany. Van Dijck takes the first medal for a Belgian athlete in these championships. And now we go to the man who holds the world record in the pole vault. The pressure goes to him, Sergei Bubka. Here's the calls.
Up for his first jump at 18, 8 1/4, Thierry Vigneron, former world record holder. In fact, he set the world record here in 1984.
Good effort. Easy clearance, Dwight.
Vigneron over easily at 18, 8 1/4.
The fiberglass pole he's using here actually had its first origins as a fiberglass rod. Watch him down the runway. You plant the pole, you ride, lean back, pressure hips forward as long as the pole is bent. When you get the absolute maximum push off, look at the fall back down. He had probably an extra 6 inches of space there, I'd say.
Fantastic clearance. Sergei Bubka, the world record holder, many times world record holder. He also set the world record here in 1984 after Vigneron.
Technically one of the finest pole vaulters in the world, to go with the fact that he is one of the 10 fastest men at 100 meters in the Soviet Union, and that's his key to his success. Very consistent down the runway. His plant and takeoff go as one motion. Watch. Pushes off, rides the pole well. You want to run off the ground, not jump. Keep your knees together. Center of gravity behind the pole. Up and over. Look at that clearance. 18 feet, 8 1/4 inches for Bubka.
As you were saying, Larry, this guy's speed is unbelievable. He has the biggest pole in the competition, huge upper body. Check this clearance. If this is not a 20-foot jump, I don't know what is.
His bar is over 17 feet long. He's holding it about 16 feet, 8 inches with his right hand. There is Mr. Consistency.
Earl Bell of the United States. At 31 years old, he had a tremendous indoor season this year, and he's right in the thick of things today.
The Arkansas State grad tries 18, 8 1/4. Successful clearance. The only Americans in, Joe Dial and Billy Olson, failed in yesterday's qualifying heat to attain the final.
Earl also has excellent speed, but he is the best technician in the United States. He has his plant up high, the right hand, rocks back nicely. He's a very tall athlete, sees where he needs to put his legs down, and makes 18, 8 1/4 on his very first attempt.
Only 2 athletes are out of the competition. Here is Poland's Marian Kolasa for his 3rd and final attempt to stay in the competition at 18, 8 1/4.
He has the right name, too. He is 6'6", Marian Kolasa of Poland, and he makes on his 3rd attempt. And with that clearance is 6 people over this height. Back with more pole vault after this. Are at 18 feet, 10 1/4 inches. This is the 3rd attempt of United States vaulter Earl Bell.
No, he is the 4th man out of 14 that started this afternoon out of the competition. 10 are remaining at 18 feet, 10 1/4 inches.
Now, the Soviet Union's Rodion Gataulin. This is his 2nd attempt at 19 feet, 1/4 of an inch. And he's over very easily, Larry.
Imagine trying, Dwight, to vault over a 2-story house and release the pole when you're upside down. That's what these guys are doing here. World ranked in the pole vault last year. Watch him. There's the plan. Notice how close he is to the top of the pole. He rides it, he bends, he uses his left leg to balance himself. He's upside down vertically. Good push off, jackknife off. He is cleanly over. Part of the stable of 19-foot pole vaulters in the Soviet Union.
And Thierry Vigneron of France, another country with tremendous pole vaulters, up for his 2nd attempt at 19 feet 1/4 inches. And he also makes it. This competition is really heating up.
The higher you go in pole vault competition, the faster your approach is, just as it is in the high jump. You must take that speed, harness it, and build down the runway. He's running faster now than he was at 18 feet. Watch the plant. Look at him ride well. Get those knees together. Release, push off as explosively as you can with your right hand. over cleanly at 19 feet, a quarter of an inch.
And if it's anything that Vigneron has, it's a tremendous amount of speed. He's one of the greatest sprinters in the pole vault. Now, Marian Kolasa of Poland, a very tall individual at 6 feet 6 inches, his third attempt at 19 feet a quarter inch. And he makes it. 4 men over 19 feet.
Talk about pressure, Dwight.
Let's go back up to Dijck Enberg.
And we'll get back to the pole vault, now to the high jump, the qualifying today, the finals tomorrow. Igor Paklin of the Soviet Union is one of the favorites. He's 24. He had the world record until Sjöberg of Sweden broke it. He's very bright, engineering student, and answers in English.
This season was very hard for me. From winter, I'm so tired after winter. I was so big problem before World Championships in Indianapolis. I was ill 5 days before, and I decided to make my season only for 2 tops of my big form in European Cup in Prague and in World Championships. I think World Championships is the main competition in this season, and I want never only win in Rome. Never another thing. I'd like to jump a new world record, but it's not so important for me in this season. I won't be first in Rome.
So the Soviets tough in the high jump and the pole vault. We'll get back to the pole vault after we break for Well, tomorrow it'll be Arrivederci, Roma, but we'll have 4 hours of the final day of the World Championships of Track and Field. 9 more world champions will be crowned. All 4 relays, so that'll be exciting. We'll also have the men's marathon final and, of course, the high jump final. But right now, the pole vault. We're going down to the final few vaults. Let's see who wins it.
With the bar at 19 feet 2 1/4 inches, this is Sergei Bubka of the Soviet Union, the world record holder. This is his first jump since making 18 8 1/4.
Ooh. Nice clearance, Dwight, as he does his own version of praying there.
I certainly didn't see him touch the bar. I don't know what he was waiting for to happen.
Little smile creases his face. He's all business in pole vaulting. They say he's a real jokester off the field and away from training, but a very serious athlete once there. Interestingly enough, you see that pole? That's made in Carson City, Nevada. He vaults on American poles. Watch how cleanly and how strong he is. Look at the acceleration he gets with his arms on the pole. Great clearance up at 19 2 1/4. Do you believe the clearance up there?
He leaves no room for doubt. Once again, this has got to be a 20-foot jump. It's just a matter of time until he jumps 20 feet, and I think all the vaulters that I've spoken to certainly feel the exact same way. He has Beemanized this event. Now his teammate, Rodion Gataulin of the Soviet Union. He is right in the thick of things. They could go 1-2.
This man was ranked number 2 in the world last year behind Bubka.
Not enough height on top, but he dropped his legs into it. We'll be able to see it on the replay. But an excellent vault at 19 2 1/4.
So many other vaulters you watch kind of shoot off at this height, left or right a bit. The Russians stay right on the center of the track. They get off cleanly in their plant. Watch, they ride the pole well. They pull their knees right up. Their center of gravity stays there. Look at the clearance, easy. He just didn't have enough speed down the runway. He came down on the bar.
Thierry Vigneron of France, third attempt at 19 2 1/4. And he tried to steady it right on top. He's very good at that. He settles for the silver medal. You can see the anguish on his face. He knows how good a jump that was. Only if I had one more shot at it.
Legitimate cheating, right?
Exactly. They're allowed to study that bar as long as it doesn't come off. Put it right back up there. Now, first attempt at the world record, 19 10 1/4.
Bubka has won the event at 19 2 1/4. He asked the bar go up to 19 10 1/4, and no way. Not on that attempt.
You know, there was a victory ceremony just as he was ready to go. He had to stop and re-steady himself. He was very displeased with the whole situation. That had to break his concentration. Couldn't be good for an attempt at a height like this, which is uncharted territory for anyone even Bubka. Here, of course, he's got great speed. His knees are very high. It's been a long competition, but he hasn't had to jump that much, Larry.
Watch the attempt here. His plan is actually his takeoff leg was too close to the bar, and he started to ride. He wasn't rocked back in position. He just aborted his jump. Here is his attempt, number 2, at 19 feet, 10 1/4 inches. Get out your oxygen masks, America.
You get the feeling he wants to jump this, that it was almost too easy for him to win the competition. He has some good jumps left in him. He's only had 3 faults the whole night.
This is number 4.
And once again, it's almost like he just doesn't have it. The pole is too stiff. Unfortunate, but he is the world champion for the 2nd time in a row. Back to Dijck in the studio.
All right, Dwight, no world record for Bubka, but confirming he's the best, repeating his gold from Helsinki. The Frenchman Thierry Vigneron takes the silver. He was the bronze medalist with Earl Bell in Los Angeles. Rodion Gataulin of the Soviet Union was 3rd. And the top U.S. finisher, Earl Bell, he ties for 5th at 18.8 1/4. And coming up from Rome next will be the 1,500 meters for the women. Don't wander away. He had a double-decker, Mary Decker-Slaney winning the 1,500 and 3,000 meters, and Tatyana Samolenko of the Soviet Union is trying for the double-decker in Rome. She's won the 3,000. She's in the finals of the 1,500 meters.
Here are the competitors in the final of the women's 1,500 meters. Linda Shesky of the United States, Kirsty Wade, Diana Richburg of the United States, Marina Yachmanyova, Cornelia Berkey, Andrea Longa, Doina Melinte, Sandra Gasser. Hildegard Korner, Tatyana Samolenko, Ulrika Bruns, Ellie Van Holtz, Svetlana Kitova, Debbie Balker, and Mitika Jungiatu. In the women's 1,500, several co-favorites. And it depends on just the way that it all shapes up.
It looks like it's going to be tactical. It looks like they're in a boxing match out there right now.
Svetlana Kitova, the Soviet Union, takes the early lead.
Kitova has been known to lead, and it could be interesting. She could be a sacrifice because some of the Soviets will do that. Sometimes the coaches will say, you take the lead so another runner can win. Maybe Samolenko on the outside with the ponytail with the red top on. She's very sharp right now. Little boxing. Now Bruns is in the lead from East Germany.
Ulrika Bruns of East Germany taking the lead with the 2 Soviets then moving right into 2nd and 3rd with 3 laps to go.
And Charlie, Bruns is very strong. She's good at the 800 meters, 1,500, all the way up to the 10,000 meters. She's run 31:17. She wants a fast pace from the beginning to get away from some of the kickers, including Doina Melinte with the gold top on.
So is Ulrika Bruns, 102.15, 62.15.
Very fast, under 4 flat for 1,500 meters.
Svetlana Kitova, the Soviet Union, now running outside, now sliding back to 3rd.
East Germany has 3 women in this race with the blue top on and white shorts. They all have run 4 flat this year, the 3 top times in the world.
Ulrika Bruns of East Germany is 1st, and now Andre Longa of East Germany is running 2nd.
These 3 women are used to running with each other, and they probably want to control this race.
And they're joined by their teammate Hildegard Korner, so the East Germans are running 1, 2, 3. And Doina Melinte is moved up to 4th place at the Soviets for right now with 2 laps to go, dropping back.
Doina Melinte is in very good position. She's in the 4th place with the gold top on. She is very fast. She was the gold medalist in 1984 in the 800 meters. She looks very easy from the waist down. She's very efficient, long legs, but she won the indoor title of the 1,500 meters in the World Indoor Championships. 2:07. They slowed down a little bit, about a 65, but they're still well under 4-minute pace for 1,500 meters, which means around a 4:16, 4:17 mile pace. Very fast.
Missy, you said look out for the East Germans. They do not come to a championship unless they feel they can medal. They're running 1, 2, 3.
That's right, Charlie. We haven't seen much of these 3 runners this summer, but they wait for the kill. They really prepare all summer long for the big meet, and this is it.
Ulrika Bruns of East Germany is 1st. Hildegard Korner of East Germany is 2nd. Andrea Longa of East Germany running 3rd. Doina Melinte right now is 4th.
And let's not forget Samolenko in the red top and the white shorts. She had a fantastic kick in the 3,000. She took the gold medal. She likes to run wide so that she can go into her kick.
She's number 596 in the red vest, now moving up and challenging for third on the outside, as does Melinte, but still the three East Germans are in front.
I think Samolenko looks good right here. She needs to go on the back stretch, and so does Melinte. Bruce has dropped out. She was sacrificing, it looks like, for the other two East Germans. 3:12. They're still on around they're under 4-minute pace for 1,500 meters, which would be a championship record. This is going to be interesting, the last 200.
So the favorite, Tatyana Samolenko, the Soviet Union, is now running second. Doina Melinte is third, and it is Hildegard Korner of East Germany who is leading right now.
In the back of that bird is this top hat, is Diana Richburger of the United States.
Right now, she is eighth, coming off of the final turn as they head for home.
Here goes the kick. Who's got the strongest kick right here? Samolenko's going to her arms. Short strike, good knee lift. It's going to be tight.
Samolenko and Korner. And it is Tatyana Samolenko. She wins it. Korner finishes second in a world-leading time this year, a championship record, 3:58.57 unofficial.
She was ready. She only had a time of 4:05 this summer, which wasn't that good. She was ready at the right moment. Double gold medalist.
Now let's go back to the stretch run.
We see Samolenko with a red top on and white shorts. She's just waiting. Look how she can keep her head down. So many times right here, your shoulders come up, your head goes back because you're tight, but she's in complete control. Low arm drive down through the hip. Beautiful form. She has one of the prettiest forms in track and field. And that's Gasser taking the bronze from Switzerland.
With Doina Melinte just out of the medal, she finishes fourth.
So the double gold, 1,500 and 3,000 meters to Tatyana Samolenko of the Soviet Union, Hildegard Korner, who had a daughter, Stephanie, just a year ago. The East German takes the silver, and Sandra Gasser of Switzerland has the bronze. Well, in a minute, we're going to talk to the man that Bob Beamon is chasing. Bob Beamon set the world record in Mexico City, and now Carl Lewis is trying to win not only the gold tonight, but set the world record. And after losing his world record, or his chance in the 100 last Sunday, he seems really motivated. We'll see how he does after these words from your local station. We welcome you back, and of course looking forward to the long jump competition. Carl Lewis, Robert Emmiyan, Larry Myricks, all going for the gold here in Rome, and of course perhaps a shot at Bob Beamon's long-standing world record. And Bob Beamon, who is now in the recreation department, Dade County Parks and Recreation down in the Miami area. Long-distance phone call. The lines aren't exactly pure between Rome and Miami, but we're pleased to have Bob Beamon with us, and as we introduce him, we'll look at that 1968 jump of 29 feet, 2.5 inches in Mexico City. And Bob, as this refreshes our memory, what most do you remember about that jump?
Well, I was very tired of flying, so I decided to land. At 29 feet, 2.5 inches, I think it was very surprising that the jump was that far, because we had not anticipated anything other than maybe close to 28 feet.
Now, Ralph Boston and Charlie Mays, your teammates, came over to help you in that collapsed state. Some said that you thought that wouldn't even be good enough to win the gold in Mexico City. Is that accurate?
Well, when you have talent such as Ralph, which was a veteran, also the Welshman Len Davies, that was the Olympic champion, and then you have the Russian Igor that was co-holder of the world record with Ralph Boston. You feel that maybe there's a big chance, a slim chance with your performance, and particularly with Ralph was very consistent. So I felt that whatever I jumped, in just about a couple of minutes, it would probably be duplicated or probably surpassed by those three athletes.
Here you jumped 29, 2.5. You figured that record would last only a day, and here 19 years later we're talking about it. Carl Lewis, have you had a chance to talk with Lewis? Has he ever called you? Have you made any interaction?
Several years ago, I had an interview with him, but other than that, we have not had any contact at all.
when your record is broken, are you going to be relieved that it's finally over, or are you going to be disappointed?
Well, I wouldn't be disappointed because we know that records are made to be broken. I think one of the things, though, after 20 years and you find that there are athletes that are very capable of breaking or coming close to the record, you find yourself as a, not a senior citizen, but you find yourself in a very helpless position to say, oh, I could probably do that, you know, one of those things. Or you might say, geez, I can't do anything about it now.
Plus, you were 22 years old when you set that world record. Now you're a man in your 40s, so it gets to be a better story every day, I'm sure, for you, Bob.
Well, Dick, I tell you, I'm only 23. I had to correct you on that.
You were 23 at the time?
I'm 23 now.
Well, we'll let it go at that, Bob. Thank you for visiting with us. I know you'll be watching, and it's part of the great drama of the sport, the fact that a man is good enough to set a world record that every time the event comes up, we remember what he did. Thank you.
I'd like to just say good luck to Carl and Larry Myricks, as well as the other athletes that are competing, too.
Well done. Thank you, Bob Beeman, now from Miami, Florida, and the World Track and Field Championships continue.
How nice it would be to hold a world record for 19 years, but how nice Carl Lewis thinks it would be to just break it one time. His first round attempt in the men's long jump. And a very good effort on the very first jump, which is typical of Carl Lewis, Larry.
Puts the pressure on everybody else. You know, every Olympic champion, Dwight, for the last 50 years has been able to run the 100-yard dash hand-timed in 9.4 to 9.7. This man can run it in 8.8 seconds, and this is why it makes this event right now so great, the long jump. He brings speed to it that no one else ever had.
You can see here, it looks like he's feeling for the board a little bit on the first attempt. It's awful tough to deal with the wind. He has tremendous technique in the air, Larry. He's got great extension. Let's see how close he comes. Only less than an inch. He is so close to right on the board every time.
That board is 8 inches as the foot is pointed towards. And so he got, as you say, almost 7.5 inches of it. Here is the man ranked #1 in the world last year, just nosing out Lewis for that honor. He's an up-and-comer. This is Robert Emmiyan.
And as you can see, Emmiyan's technique completely different. It's the hang technique, and he does it very, very well. He jumped 29 feet 1 inch earlier this year. On this one, 27 2 3/4.
The Soviets seem to lack some of the speed that our American athletes have, but they tend to have very powerful thighs that get higher in the air.
Carl Lewis, round 2. And another good jump. This one tapes out at 28 4.5. He just bangs them out one after the other. Very consistent. That's why you think someday he's just got to catch that record.
Welcome to the cookie cutter. That's Carl Lewis we're talking about. Giovanni Evangelisti did on the long jump what had happened in the steeplechase with Panetta.
Evangelisti was the bronze medalist, however, in Los Angeles, knocking Larry Myricks into 4th place, and that's his 3rd round jump of 26 feet 10.5 inches, puts him right into the hunt for the medals. Larry Myricks of the United States, so consistent over the last 10 years, has had such bad luck in big meets. Broke his foot in Montreal. We didn't go in 1980. He got pushed into 4th place in 1984. Was the silver medalist at World Championships in Helsinki. And also, Myricks seems to be fishing for the board a little bit. He doesn't want to give a full-out effort because you don't want to foul.
Watch on the replay. Your next to last step, you begin to drop down a bit. That's it. You reach up as though you're trying to touch a rim in basketball. Extend fully, fold your legs in front, and try and get your backside to clear right by your heels. 27 feet on that effort for Myricks. He has been a consistent 27-footer.
Now, round 3, and Carl Lewis is up. There you can see his mom and his sister on the backstretch, able to watch every single step. And round 3, 28 5.5 again. It's only a matter of time.
And we'll return to that in a moment. The long jump finals, part of the excitement here. The men's high jump had a most interesting situation today. And here's what happened. That's the world record holder from Sweden, Patrick Sjöberg. The high jump qualifying 16 cleared the qualifying height 7.5 plus, but to pare down to 12, the officials ordered the bar moved to 7.6. The athletes huddled, and they decided that all 16 should get into the final. So one by one, the Soviets included, they ran under the bar. There'll be 16 in the finals tomorrow. Here's the men's 50-kilometer walk, 31 miles. It began this morning. Italy's Raffaello Ducecci, number 586 on the right in blue. He left the stadium with his own aria from Carmen No Pavarotti, but so wonderfully Italian. Ducecci would eventually finish fourth in the 50K. And there's your winner, Hartwig Gauder of East Germany, 3:40.53. The official results, Gauder first, Ronald Weigel of East Germany second, and Ivan Yenko, the Soviet, finishes third. But the drama this day belongs to the long jumpers, Emmiyan and Lewis. The focus is there.
In the fourth round of the long jump, Carl Lewis of the United States is winning with 28 feet 5.5 inches. Larry Myricks is in third place at this point. And once again, Carl puts one out there. 27 feet 8 inches. He hasn't improved on his very first jump to this point. Now, Robert Emmiyan of the Soviet Union up for his fourth round jump.
Watch the height that Emmiyan gets and try and remember Lewis's last jump.
And he really nails one. This is out there. 28 feet even. He knocks Myricks down to third, even further.
Drive off the board. Opposite knee drives high. Upper torso lifts. Your back gets arched and you extend as far as you can. Look at, he eats up about 6 inches of the toe board. He left 2 inches on the runway.
And Emmiyan doesn't have near the speed that Lewis does. He's not slow by any means, and you can see on that board he was running into a slight headwind. Now, Larry Myricks, he figures second place may not be possible, but he wants to make sure he hangs on to third. Fifth round jump for Myricks. And he's hesitating up 3 or 4 steps before the board, and that's really hurting him. 27 feet, 4 inches. That's his best jump of the competition. He's still 8 inches behind Emmiyan.
Now, Myricks is fast, but he doesn't have, of course, Carl Lewis's speed. He's more got the speed of Emmiyan, but he needs every inch and every bit of technique to come together.
Really seems to be dropping his arms right near the board because he knows he's so close to fouling.
You can tell he wasn't hanging right in the air from the way he fell. And look, he left about 6 inches in that jump right back there. Add 6 on, and he's up at 28.
He said earlier he wasn't sure about Emmiyan's jump of 29.1 earlier, and that he would eat crow if Emmiyan were to beat him here at the championships.
90% of long jumping is the result of speed and technique before the jump.
And Carl just has to run through. Knew he wouldn't hit the board properly.
The steps were off.
Now, we haven't been mentioning Mike Connolly. He's had nothing but trouble. Out of 5 jumps to this point, he's only had 1 legal mark. This would be the time to pop one. Mr. Come Through. And once again, Michael Connolly has fouled. Out of 6 attempts tonight, he fouled on 5 of them. He ends up in 8th place in this competition. What a shame. Michael Connolly, second in the triple jump, was having trouble with his steps in that event. He has the speed and he has the ability to be very competitive in this event, but you can see about 2-3 inches over the board. Mike Connolly, unfortunately, ends up in 8th place.
Let's go now to the men's 4x400 semis. The U.S. favored to win this event, and in the semi, the East Germans and Kenyans will give the Americans the test. We go to Charlie Jones.
Semi-final, men's 4x400 meters relay. Lane assignments, Italy in 1, Yugoslavia in 2, United States in 3, Kenya's in 4, East Germany in 5, West Germany in 6, Australia in 7, and Jamaica in 8. The running order for the United States, Danny Everett to lead it off, Michael Franks, Raymond Pierre, Antonio McKay to anchor. Danny Everett of the United States in lane 3. 3-turn stagger. Leadoff men stay in their lanes, first exchange, second runners stay in their lanes around the turn, then they break for the pole.
And they don't want to be showy, and they don't want to run too hard. They just want to qualify for the final.
The top 3 finishers in this heat, plus the 2 best other times of the 2 semifinal heats, move into the final tomorrow. And Everett running very well, holding his own. This is a long stagger, so it takes a while to kind of sort things out.
It's also a little bit difficult on the runners because they don't have anyone to key against the way they have in their normal races. They just have to try to dole out their effort, come off the turn, and try to get as close as they can to the man in front of them before they hit the exchange zone.
East Germany in lane 5 running well, and that's Jens Karlovets leading off for East Germany. And they are first at the exchange.
The handoff was pretty much even. Scherzing from East Germany out ahead, but Michael Franks from the United States running well. Good leg speed for Franks. He wants the pole.
And Franks is inside and now has control, and that means that it'll be the United States and then East Germany running 1-2 with Kenya running 3rd. Jamaica's 4th. Australia is 5th.
And keeping this in mind for the final, it looks like Michael Franks is a little bit faster than Scherzing. He's more of a pure sprinter, so we have to bear in mind that on the second leg in the final, the East Germans are the next team to watch. We're going to have a little of an advantage over them.
East Germany is slowing down. Here comes Kenya in second place. East Germany may be out of it. They are out of the race. No baton. They missed on that exchange. So they are gone. It's the United States running first. Kenya is second. That is Jamaica 3rd. 4th is Heinrich is running 4th for West Germany.
But it's almost as if Raymond Pierre sensed something was going on, and he just took off. Now he has to not run too hard. Don't lose it here. Save it for the final. You've got a great lead. Just relax now. Relax on the straightaway. And he's tight. I think he was a little excited when he realized that the East Germans were out, maybe gone out a little too hard. He's slowing, but he's maintaining most of his lead.
So East Germany missing on the exchange, dropping the baton. And Thomas Schönleber was their anchor. They were one of the favorites, so they are out of the competition. Antonio McKay of the United States. He's out in front by about 35 meters. Kenya is running 2nd. Jamaica is running 3rd. And West Germany is running 4th. Top 3 finishers are through to the finals.
Antonio McKay, he's having fun out there now. And there is a certain reason to go fast, because you and your teammates can say, look, we're 2 or 3 seconds faster than anybody else in the field. We can relax in the final. And very often when you're relaxed and not tense, you can run faster.
And the race is going to be for 3rd. It's going to be the United States. Kenya finishes 2nd, Jamaica 3rd, West Germany, if the time is good enough, could well move through to the final. An unofficial 2:59.08.
There was no foul, but on the inside, Frank Mueller was just trying to relax. And when you relax, you hold your hands loose. So he wasn't gripping the baton tightly. He knocks hands with Elijah Bijck, and the baton goes down.
It is not a foul. His teammate, meanwhile, waiting for the exchange, looks back. That's Matthias Scherzing. He says, oh, no, they're out of it.
The World Championships of Track and Field have been brought to you by Olympic Stadium astir, Francesco Panetta in the steeplechase. Yeah, the power and the energy of the Italians as they rooted for their hero Panetta, and he delivered, as Frank Shorter said, in the biggest race of his life. But that wasn't the only emotional moment of this day, this Saturday in Rome. A Soviet, a rare show of emotion. Tatyana Samolenko on the victory stand after she won the 1500. A double gold for Samolenko, who barely kept it together.
Back for the final round of the men's long jump in Giovanni Evangelisti, bronze medalist from Los Angeles, in front of the hometown crowd. And that's a big one for Evangelisti, and he knows it.
No big surprise here, Dwight, in the sense that he was ranked 8th in the world last year in the long jump. This home crowd has certainly helped him here try and nail down 3rd place.
Good speed, good arms, excellent technique on the runway. He goes all the way for it. Excellent height, extension into the pit, and no problem with the board. There's no matter of a foul.
Remember, these athletes are running about 50 yards and trying to put their foot on the end of a toe board and missing sometimes by just 1 or 2 inches. There he gets the distance. 27 feet, 6 inches, moves him into 3rd place.
Could it be possible that Evangelisti could do to Myricks today what he did to him 3 years ago in Los Angeles? Certainly that is going through Larry's mind at this very moment. He's been very close. The crowd did not want him to better Evangelisti's jump, that's for sure.
Watch him down the runway. The legs are brought together after the jump, and he's in the air. Head and shoulders thrown forward and down as he tries to reach for every bit. He got the whole board.
And if he could have willed himself any further, he would have. But 26 feet, 11 inches is not an improvement for Larry Myricks, and he gets 4th place at the World Championships, gets knocked out once again in a major championship by Giovanni Evangelisti in front of the Rome crowd.
6'2", 170 pounds of great athletic ability.
This is the last chance, folks. Final jump for Carl Lewis. Anytime you see an athlete in the long jump land like that, they probably aren't going to get their best jump. 28 feet, 3 inches for Carl Lewis. Another outstanding, consistent performance for Lewis. He dominates this event. 52 straight victories, sprinting style on the runway. Goes down on the right before the left. Beautiful technique and extension into the pit and lands right on his bottom.
Of the 30 longest long jumps in history, this man owns 23 of them.
Before those last 2 steps, it's just like he's running down lane 4 of the straightaway in 100 meters. And he gets just about all the board. In fact, he missed a 30-foot jump in Indianapolis a few years ago because of a plane foul. No mark in the plasticine. Carl Lewis, once again, the long jump world champion.
Carl Lewis, the longest winning streak currently in track or field, 52nd consecutive win, 4 jumps over 28 feet. Remember, Beeman, when he went 29, 2.5, never jumped 28 feet, and Lewis does it 4 times in these championships. Emmiyan, he's legitimate. The Soviet, 28 feet, takes 2nd, and Evangelista takes the bronze right out of Larry Myricks' hands as he earns the 3rd place on the final jump of the competition. Well, Carl Lewis, he was drafted by the Bulls and drafted by the Cowboys and now drafted by Dwight Stones.
Hey, you did what you wanted to. You won the competition.
Yeah, Dwight, I came into this meet hoping that I could try to win, defend my titles in the events, and I ran well in the 100. And then earlier this week, I caught a little stomach virus, which has been going around here, so it kind of slowed me down. So I'm pleased to jump that far and to win because there's some great competitors in that competition.
Plus, your performance was very consistent.
Yeah, I jumped well the first 3, and then as time went on, it just started to affect me more. And I'm just glad that I was able to stay relaxed and stay in it because that enabled me to jump far even at the end. I've had pretty bad luck this year with just different things, but you know, over the past, I've always had great luck. So it's kind of mixing, and I have to prove that I can deal with adversity just like everybody else. So next year, I'm going to really shoot for it, and I think I'll have a better year.
You have a team effort tomorrow. You got the 4x100.
That's going to be fun. As you saw today, the teams are very good. It's going to be a close competition, and we're just going to have to run our best to win. It isn't going to be a cakewalk like the past, so I'm looking forward to being in the middle of the pack instead of always way out front. Hopefully we can have a great race.
Best of luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Well, he's been consistently gold. Carl Lewis, who won 3 golds in Helsinki, 4 golds in Los Angeles for the Olympics. He has a silver, and it took a world record to take the gold away from him in the 100 meters and the gold in the long jump. And we'll try to anchor a gold medal winning bid by the U.S. relay team tomorrow. There is the medal count. East Germany with twice as many medals as the United States, 28 for East Germany, running away from this world competition. The USSR had a big day today, 5 medals. 20 for them total, in the United States with 14, and Italy today with 2 medals, the gold in the steeplechase to Panetta, and the bronze on the last jump by Evangelista in the long jump. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 11 o'clock on the West Coast, and noon in Los Angeles for our final day coverage. We leave you saluting Francesco Panetta, the champion and the hero of the country of Italy.